Nigerians, this is Progress Diary, your hub for all updates and activities of the All Progressives Congress under the dynamic leadership of Dr. Abdullahi Umar Ganduje. I am Habida Lawal. Let's start by informing you that the national chairman of the All Progressives Congress, Abdullahi Umar Ganduje, has commiserated with the governor of Katsina State, Diko Umar Rada, over the death of his mother, Ajia Safara Umar. Mr. Ganduje, in a press statement signed by his chief press secretary, Edwin Olofu, says her death has left a profound void in the hearts of family, friends, and the people of Katsina State. The national chairman charged those affected to find solace in the cherished memories of the departed soul while extending his condolences to Governor Rada, the bereaved family, and the entire people of Katsina State during this difficult time. In another development, the All Progressives Congress has officially discredited a purported timetable for nationwide congresses currently making rounds, labeling it as a counterfeit and unauthorized. In a press statement released by Felix Morka, the National Public Secretary of the APC, clarified that the party has not issued any such schedule. Mr. Morka further urged party members and officials, the media, and the general public to disregard the unauthorized timetable. He reiterated that any valid notices or schedules will be communicated appropriately in due course. FCT Minister Nyesom Wike is actively working behind the scenes to broker peace with suspended Governor Siminalayi Fubara. This was revealed by Tony Okocha, chairman of the Rivers APC, during a press conference in Abuja. He says, contrary to speculations, Mr. Wike is not fueling the crisis, but instead trying to stabilize the situation.
The state of emergency called by Mr. President saved River State from anarchy. And you all know that River State is one of the states that sustain this country. Governor Fubara was Wike's political investment. What happens to you when you have made an investment? Should you allow the investment to fly away or to explode? So for those who are calling for his suspension and all that, they are not getting the point right. That man had been at the epicenter of peace. How do we resolve this matter? But the governor became so hydra-headed. His head became bigger than his pillow.
It is now time for my interview with Umar Tanko Yakassai, Director General of Tinubu Support Groups. Hello and welcome to the interview segment of Progress Diary. My guest today is the Director General of the Tinubu Support Groups, Dr. Umar Tanko Yakassai. You're welcome, sir.
Thank you very much.
So let's start off with the TSG and other support groups who have already kick-started. They seem to have started to rally support for the presidential bid for 2027. What do you think will be different this time around?
I think what will be different is the fact that before 2023, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu then was not a president. He wasn't, at that point in time, he wasn't even in government. He was just an ordinary Nigerian who had built his political career and was ready to be an aspirant. So many people rallied around him and ensure that he picked the ticket of the APC, and then later on, with the support of the government and everybody and the party and the governors, he was able to win the 2023 election. But now, as a sitting president, things are different. We have things to show that we have done. Before there are promises, but now that there are a lot of things that he has done, so the support groups, when they come to campaign for President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, will not be talking about his experiences in Lagos, his experiences in politics. They were talking about concrete achievement that he has recorded as a president of this country, as a sitting president. And many of them will also have the wherewithal and the support to be able to go around the country and the support to be able to campaign for the president with the evidence at hand that they will be reaching out to Nigerians in order to convince them that the president has done so well and he should be given an opportunity to continue with the work that he has started in the second term. So I think one will be more organized, because at that point in time, when you have too many aspirants before the primaries who are also APC members, so many of the support groups will be divided. Some will be for one aspirant or the other. And later when President Bola Ahmed Tinubu emerged as a candidate, they all came together. But right now, you don't have aspirants, because President Bola Ahmed Tinubu will be the sole...
You never can tell.
No, he will be the sole candidate and aspirant in one.
But the party still has to leave it open.
The party chairman said there is no vacancy in the party first, and then also there is not even vacancy in the presidency, in the Aso. So I think it's a given. Just like in the US, when the sitting president intends to go for a second term, every other person hardly goes for a primary. There is no primary election. So likewise, in Nigeria, when Obasanjo was 2003 coming back, there was no aspirant. Nobody contested with him in the party as the ruling president. Likewise, Goodluck Jonathan in 2011. Likewise, President Muhammadu Buhari in 2019. So it's a tradition of a presidential system that when the sitting president is coming for a second term, hardly do anybody go to the field to become an aspirant. So that's why I feel that we will do well.
Well, there are some speculations that some members of the APC that campaigned during the 2023 election for President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, they feel sort of left out, especially with the party reward system. Is there any mechanism in place, especially with support groups members who feel that they were left out or they were not compensated in one way or the other? What are you doing to placate them to ensure that you also get their support for campaign in 2027?
Yeah, so as a DG of the Tinubu support group, I was also at that point in time a leader of one of the support groups which registered with Tinubu support group at that point in time. And our expectation is that by the time the president wins, it is common with all political support groups, is that the support groups will be compensated. All followers will be compensated immediately. But the reality is that when President Bola Ahmed Tinubu became the president and was sworn in, it is a choice between settling your followers or stabilizing the country. And he chose that at that point in time to first of all work on stabilizing the country. It's when you have a Nigeria that a support group member will begin to think that he should be rewarded. And at that point in time, you know, the economy had its own issues, insecurity in the country, many divisions due to politicking of that 2023. And the strong contenders that were within the 2023 election era. So the country needed somebody who would unify the country, unite the country. And that was the first mission of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, to unite the country coming out of the 2023 election. And that was why you could see some opposition leaders like Wiki and Co are in government, so that you have a unity government that will ensure that everybody has a sense of belonging, and then the system becomes a little bit quiet. And then the next thing was facing the issue of economy. We have been borrowing at that point in time to pay salaries and pay the commitment of government. And we have reached a point in time where subsidy cannot be sustained with that level of debt. And also the parallel nature of the foreign exchange was such that it was not sustainable. People were around tripping money, you go to CB and get dollars, and then you just go to some and sell it. And so all those affected the economy. And you have to set the economy straight. And the president decided to do those two policies that were announced, abolition of subsidy, which was removal. And let me just clarify that the president did not remove subsidy. The President Mohamed Buhari already had put in the budget subsidy only to last 1st June. So it was the responsibility of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu to either return that subsidy or not. But because of the economic realities, he went ahead and continued with the policy of President Buhari of removal of subsidy, even though he announced it. And so the subsidy had to go, and then the second thing was due to round tripping of dollars. People are not taking dollars to the bank because you easily get dollars from the CBN and then you just take it to them for and make money. So he had to float the naira. Those have some, of course, immediate impact on the economy, but after some time it has taken, the dollars are now stabilizing, the economy is stabilizing, and quite a number of things. So that was the reason why the president had to save the country first, and then now that he is stable, the country is stable, and we're beginning to see results, the attention has now come back to support group and other leaders who have supported President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. And I can assure you that to the best of my knowledge, recently, many of the support group members found their ways into board chairman and board membership and some parastatals.
Some persons believe that these appointments are not entirely based on merit. It seems more like I want to reward this person not because they are entirely fit for the job or for the role that they are occupying.
Yeah, so I believe that in the history of this country, I have not seen a president that has really appointed people based on merit, like President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. If you look at the agencies, many of the agencies are being manned by Nigerians who are well educated, who are well exposed. In fact, some of us are thinking that at a point in time, quality education is the basis for you to get an appointment into a parastatal in Nigeria. You see people with a degree and a master's degree, PhD outside the country from Ivy League institutions getting appointment in various agencies, unlike before where the reward is purely political. Whether you are competent or not competent, as long as you have contributed politically, you get an agency. And whether you'll be able to deliver on the mandate of that agency, yes or no, it wasn't considered. But now, if you just, Nigerians, I call on you to go and review the CVs of people who have been appointed into various agencies. You will see the quality and the pedigree of those people who have been appointed. So I think there is a lot of quality. But however, what you need to know is that as a president, when you are any elective position, if you are elected, you also begin to think of the next election. So you have a mix of quality people who have had the qualifications, but a mixture of also politicians who will now produce the numbers for you. Ministerial slots are difficult to have maximum quality in terms of the pedigree you talk about, because in the states, the leaders, political leaders, have a role to say in who becomes a minister, because a minister is an executive position that represents the state. So if you go too technical and without looking at the political consideration, you may appoint people who may not be politically heavyweight in the state, and then when it comes to election, you need them.
Well, some people believe all is not well within the APC with the recent defection of former governor of Kaduna State, Nasir El-Rufai, to the Social Democratic Party. Some believe that it could have been managed, especially with many of his allegations, chief of which is the ministerial appointment that was rescinded by the National Assembly. He believed that President Bola Tinubu did not probably intercede enough to ensure he was finally approved. What do you make of it and the brewing coalition of opposition parties?
Once you have a large family such as APC, even in a family within a community and the family is large, you are bound to have friction. And the father knows that some group of children will have a good understanding, some other groups will have a different understanding. And that's why the father in that house and the parents are usually settling disputes. It doesn't mean that those children hate themselves, but it's natural. So likewise in APC, you have a lot of people. It's the largest party in Africa with the largest population and heavy political weights. And that we expect interests to clash. And at any point in time, it will be difficult to satisfy 100% the interests of everybody. So I think that Governor Nasri, former governor of Kaduna State, Nasri El-Rufai, as a seasoned technocrat and a seasoned politician, having been in government since 1999, should know that every time a president is elected, some of these dynamics do happen. And it cannot be ascribed purely to the president. I remember in 2023, when President Obasanjo became president the second time, he submitted the name of Nasri El-Rufai to the National Assembly. And at that point in time, if you remember, he visited the National Assembly, he had issues with the National Assembly where he called about money bags. And still, because they're an independent arm of government and they have the right to do their work. And there were issues similar to what has happened now. And he was able to be patient enough for President Obasanjo to be able to sort that out. I remember there was a lot of back and forth before he was cleared. So if he's a student, we are students of history, and he knows that that was what happened, and that was how he was able to be patient enough for that to be managed. So I expected him now that if he has gone to, for the president to have nominated him, I think the president has fulfilled his promise of ensuring that Nasri El-Rufai is part of the government. Secondly, the National Assembly is an independent arm, and they have the right to not be a rubber stamp. And even he, Nasri El-Rufai, should not expect the National Assembly to be a rubber stamp because he wants one day to be a leader of the country, and you have to have institutions that are strong. So I think if the National Assembly, in doing its work, have issues and questions, the blame should not go back to the president of the country, because the last time that happened in 2003, he didn't blame President Obasanjo. So I think he was quick, he was a bit impatient, and that could have been resolved if given the opportunity, which he didn't. And if you remember, he made it loud and clear that because of that small issue, he has met with his family and he has decided that he is rejecting the ministerial appointment instead of giving room for small interventions to happen. So he decided on his own and refused to accept further engagement with the National Assembly that would have resolved that issue. So I think he is the architect of that particular end result of him not being participating, not being a minister. Secondly, as a governor and as a former minister and a politician, he knows that in politics, I'm sure not everybody that worked for him to be a governor was able to find position in government within the first 2 months. And he explained to whoever were his followers that I have reason, be patient with me, you can come in at the beginning or the middle, or even at the second time, and people listen. So I expected that if he missed that first attempt, he knows as a politician and as somebody who is a leader that there are still opportunities within the next 2 years, 3 years, in fact, the second term. So I expected him to have been patient. So now that he has taken that decision of leaving, I believe that the reasons are purely selfish. Because if you remember, in 1999-2003, when President Obasanjo was the president, Nigerians wanted a different person to be a president of 2003, and there were a lot of conflicts here and there. Nasri El-Rufai was at that time in BP, and because he was in government, he did not join Nigerians in bringing down the government of Obasanjo. He helped in Obasanjo becoming the second-term president in 2003. Became a minister, and with all the outcries at that point in time, he didn't leave that government. He stood by that government. It's in the nature of Nigerians, once you are elected and you are leading, for them to say that all the solutions that we have now found within the immediate need are issues, and then opposition would take that opportunity and hype the system. And El-Rufai spent 8 years and didn't leave. When he went on exile and came back and worked towards the election of President Muhammadu Buhari, after some few months, he still said that he was not allowed to see President Muhammadu Buhari. It took him almost 20-something months. He studied and then he had to write a letter to President Muhammadu Buhari, open letter, because he couldn't have access to him. And as a governor, sitting governor at that point in time, he didn't, and Nigerians were also complaining. He didn't leave that party. He didn't abandon that party. He still remained, worked for the re-election of President Muhammadu Buhari in 2019, and still remained in APC till 2023. When Nigerians, whatever he said Nigerians are now saying, Nigerians also said that, but he remained. So I expected that if you had remained 8 years in the PDP, with all the outcries, if you had remained 8 years in the APC during President Muhammadu Buhari's tenure, with all the outcry, isn't it too early for him to say he is using that as a basis to leave APC? Finally, if we are talking about the party has left him, when Buhari left him in 2015 to 2023, did he go? He remained within the APC. Every other party is rolling around this ideology of policies and programs based on the capitalist system of government. So which ideology is saying that is different between whichever party that he wants to leave? Secondly, when you are leaving and you said you are operating from that particular, he said he's a businessman and an aristocrat, and you are leaving All Progressives Congress because you are a progressive, and you are moving to Social Democratic Party, SDP, how can he find what he's looking for in a socialist party? The argument he is given, the reasons he has given, the justifications are purely, they are not altruistic, they are personal, and they are just because he lost out in the ministerial slot and he couldn't take it, and he's holding Ribadu and his friends responsible for his conditions, and so I think it's out of anger.
Well, in 2 minutes, my final question, I would like you to tell me about the policies of the APC that you will say have yielded results, desired results for Nigerians.
Okay, 2 minutes and policies are result of, wow. Now, let me say that the economy has settled. Of course, when you remove subsidy and you float the naira, the tendency is that things will go haywire. But because of the policies of the government, economic policies, fiscal policies, the economy has started taking shape. I am from Kano, and I know that before this Ramadan started, many people have said that prices of food and commodities have come down, which shows a result of that policy taking place. If you go to pump filling stations, we have come down from 1,000 plus prices of oil to less than 900, and at a point in time 806. That shows competition is taking place in the market, and with the coming on board of Dangote refinery, other refineries, competition will set in, and in future you will find that petroleum prices will be sold at maybe less than 400 naira. That is a progress. Also, you know, indirect with the trade balance in Nigeria stood as almost 5.8 trillion, which is a significant increase compared to what we have before 2023. Also, the foreign reserve of Nigeria has grown to over $45 billion, and it is their foreign reserve at the time if you are creditworthy or not. That is a significant improvement. And also, the GDP growth between 2003 in the last quarter to in 2023, 2024, 2025 has also increased from about 2 point something to about 3 point something, almost 1%. Also, if you look at the support that is given to medium and small scale industries, 75 billion naira has been earmarked and people are accessing it. If you look at the NEL fund, the educational fund, over 34 billion has been dispersed, over 300,000 students have benefited. These are all adding up into economy. Now, that is the economic side of it. Also, if you look at the security side of it, the security has improved. People now in Birnungwari, you can go to Birnungwari, and people who are doing farming, I have seen video clips, there are people who have been able to farm. The incidences of attack and kidnapping in Zamfara, Gusau to Sokoto has reduced. The last time I heard about Kaduna to Abuja, it's been long. So improvement in security. Boko Haram attack in the northeast has also gone down. Militancy in the south side has also gone down. A small dispute in southwest has also gone down. The Monday sit at home in southeast has also gone down. How many times have you had killings and maimings in southeast because people have come out to do their normal business? So economy is good, still improving. Security is good. In fact, security is good. And these are just a few, but I have other fields that I would have, if I had enough time, I would have delved into. Agriculture, technology, blue and marine economy, and quite a lot that I think we have recorded success. And also the increment in minimum wage, where workers have moved from 30,000 to about 78,000 at the federal, or some states are even doing 80,000. Local government autonomy is also good because the local government now can access one and dispense. Also, allocation to state has also more than tripled or quadrupled because of the savings of subsidy removal. Palliatives have been given, thousands of trucks of rice distributed, billions of naira given to state government to distribute to their citizens. All these are a result of economic improvement in the country and a lot more. I think in this 18 or 20 months, less than 2 years, I think we have made progress.
Very well, a very fine place to leave it. I've been speaking with the Director General of the Tinubu Support Group, Dr. Umar Tanko Yakassai. Progress Diary will be right back. Stay with us. And that is our package on Progress Diary. Today we will return again next week to tell you how the APC is succeeding in its efforts to implement the renewed hope agenda of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Thank you for watching. I am Abida Lawal. See you next week.